Hello and welcome, namaste, to my beautiful family of light. I'm glad that you're here with me. Let's just take a breath together and really arrive and be in this now moment. Lovely. So I've been thinking about today's podcast with the energetics and also around our galactic family, our star families, and how that's all kind of woven into our lives or is becoming even more activated as it's woven into our DNA and our cells from beyond space and time. And I know lately that there's been a lot of talk about things really accelerating further. And I think that's true. But I think it's because we're at a point now where we've tipped over this point where so many light workers, people that care, are really standing in their truth and remembering also that we are not separate from the cosmos. We are made of that same energy, that same starlight. And as this is now, this energy has really increased in our ascension process. It's just bringing online through our own DNA, and most of all as well, this opening of our heart center, which if you watch my channel, you know I speak about the heart center and living from the heart quite a lot, because that's where, we all remember that our soul makes itself known. Our intuitions come from there. Our knowing comes from there. And this is what connects us, rather like the roots of the trees are all connected across the globe. We are all connected as one through that center of the heart. Now, as these energies have been really accelerating, I'm sure, you've noticed what's going on in the outside world. So many more things are collapsing. Old structures are just really now moving away from that rigid place, because as this energy is really moving forward fastly, there's also this sense of catching. I've been catching like plasma, if you like. Well, it is plasma, like weaving around me, and at times I've caught it out my peripheral vision. And clients and friends of mine have been saying the same thing and having Mandela effects and so many sensations that people are reporting, that their minds are much more sensitized now to feeling more telepathic, to being much more sensitive to this subtle information, if you like, and ideas and inspirations that just apparently, and I say apparently because it is apparently, arrive out of nowhere. Because as we're also noticing that your intuition, you may have noticed, is becoming louder, is becoming faster and more frequently. I've noticed this myself. I've had, even in the middle of an exercise class at the gym, my higher self, or my soul, if you like, has said something very clearly and very audibly to me. And that's because our energy fields are really now rising up into our higher frequencies. And it's also important at this time that I'm just going to touch on just the loosening of these rigid beliefs, the old stories maybe that we've told, and this opening, this cracking open, if you like, to new perspectives. Because as this energy is moving, it's also creating this undercurrent within each one of us. And maybe not everyone, or some people are feeling it more intensely than others, where the water, because remember we are 70 or 80% water within our bodies, is cleansing and releasing things. And it's been speaking to us, you may have noticed, on a much more deep emotional, even karmic way, where old things are surfacing for release. And I just wanted to remind you to, validate those feelings and remember our body is such a wise vessel, and it's cleansing rather than something's gone wrong. You know, it hasn't that you fell back into old habits. If things surface, just that may have been stored trauma and stored emotions in the physical body. These unexplained feelings of feeling maybe fatigue, or a lot of people have skin issues, digestive upset, that's been one of mine, sleep disruption. Remember that the body is wise, and it's bringing these things up not to punish us, but to finally release them, because this is what this energy is doing. It's saying, right, we need to clear the ground. We need to do this inner clearing and cleansing and work so we can release it. You know, and I often say to people when these old traumas come up, and believe you me, I've had plenty of those myself from the get-go coming into this world. It's important that we use a great amount of self-love from our heart center, just acknowledging that that is not happening now. That is the past. And we always, always have a choice to say, I want to release this. Ask your higher self to help you release it. If you need to talk to somebody else, somebody that you trust, talk to them. Because these things now, you will find that if you put yourself in that position to want to release them, to want to let go, to want to move forward, it's going to happen more quickly than ever before, because the frequency is much lighter, because that frequency is much higher. So take that time with yourself. I've also had a lot of people saying they feel very lightheaded, dizzy, things are moving too fast, there's overwhelm. So remember the grounding tools for this. You know, breath work is one I often encourage people to do. You know, if you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 8, and then pause again for 4 before breathing in. And doing several cycles of that, I would say at least 6 cycles, you'll find you start to ground your energy. But in my mind, not only will you be grounding your energy, you're also connecting to that higher frequency, that energy of your soul that wants to come in, that wants to calm you, that wants to give you that inner wisdom that is innately within. So use your breath work. Walk barefoot on the ground. That's another great one. On the grass, on the beach. I mean, we're so blessed here in Sarasota. We have a 99.99% crystal sand beach, which is beautiful. And any gentle movement, you know, whether it's yoga, walking, tai chi, qigong, do what you know is going to be grounding and helpful to you. Anything to nourish yourself, you know, even if it's taking a little nap, resting without guilt, just finding more playtime as well. So be aware that still maybe some old trauma and old wounds surfacing. Take that time to engage and accept that, and find ways that are nourishing and empowering for you to move out of those old patterns and that old grief, because you're not living that now. I'm also going to share something with you about my own meditation experience, because I feel that there's been a lot of this taking place with people, almost like quite beautiful but surreal experiences. So I was at one of our beautiful meditation gatherings here. I think it was for a full moon. And again, one of our friends was leading it. And I started, as the meditation went on, we'd connected to Mother Earth's, the crystal grid, deep into the core of Mother Earth, and then up to source above into the central sun. And as these pillars of light came down, and you know what it's like, you can visualize it yourself, but this happened to me, happened from within. So I first of all saw that Star of David, the upward pointing triangle, and then with the lower one. But then that just slowly evolved into becoming a moving extra dimensional Merkaba. And all these points in this Merkaba were then right on each point. They were like, I can only describe it as cones of energy. And I'm sharing this with you, not to because I want you to believe it, but because I think many of you listening will have had your own version of this or something similar in a moment of meditation, in your dreaming, or even just in your quiet time, where you know we realize that we're something far bigger than just our body, than just our mind, than just woven into the cosmos, that we are all part of that. And as we're remembering that, so as these cones of light, these cones, sorry, at the point of each of this Merkaba's light started, they were like vibrating and pulsing and moving. Then that just suddenly just transformed into this most beautiful, vast, star-filled sky. It was just so vast. It was like remembering something that was always there. And this is why I'm saying that there's so many of us now being activated in not to learning, but to remembering the real truth of who we are. And that's something that can flow much more naturally the more we acknowledge that, the more we embrace that, and remembering about our star lineages to our galactic family. Now, I know recently Paul and I went to see the Steven Spielberg movie Disclosure Day, and it was enjoyable, and there were things there that sort of made me realize even more so how many of us are so intuitive in picking up on how other people are feeling, you know, and what's going on around in the environment around us. But to know that our star family are not a threat to us, other ETs or star beings like the Syrians, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, there are so many, that we are all part of this star family, this great galactic family. And the star families that are particularly working with the planet Earth now, that like my guides tell me, are very much the Syrians, that are often described as, let's say, the way showers, the truth bearers, and they're deeply connected to Egypt. They often have an interest in sacred geometry, to healing. And if you feel that real pull towards truth telling and loyalty, then you probably have or carry that resonance of the Sirius star family. I know that if you watch the podcast with our scuba diving experience, you'll see that a lot of that really had a quite profound experiences for me, because it was obviously a connection back to that aquatic world of Sirius B. And then there's the Arcturians. Now, I often feel, I know I have an Arcturian guide. It's possibly part of my higher self, my oversoul. And they're often described as the great technicians and healers of these higher dimensional consciousness, associated with this advanced healing technologies, with geometry, with clarity of mind. And often they have this higher dimensional understanding as well, and they love humanity so much. And they are, and a lot of the advanced technologies that are on Earth have been inspired or actually brought into this plane by the Arcturians. And then there is the Pleiadians, and they're often felt as a more heart-centered family, very gentle, very deeply emotional, the Pleiadians, and focused on love and harmony and unity. And those heart wounds of humanity, they come to help heal us there. So if you're someone that feels things very deeply, who's drawn to beauty and music and this emotional connection with others, then that's often described as a connection to the Pleiadian energy. Now, of course, none of these energies are exclusive. To be honest, I feel a strong connection with all of them. And that's because, some souls that have interacted or lived on in these star systems, they have this a blend, if you like, of all these different races, because we're all evolving and we all want to, hopefully all of us want to learn more, we want to expand more, we want to create from that place of truth, of unity, and of compassion within us. So see what feels right for you. Again, this discernment is what's so important, as we're really invited now to live from our truth and to use our integrity in keeping that your energy as pure and as highly focused and cleansed as you can. How do we do that, you might say? Well, through your meditation, connecting to nature, having conscious, really, let we say, wise conversations with others. I can feel that the community I'm so blessed to be a part of here, we're all encouraging one another. So be around people that help you stretch, be around people that help you go beyond your current thoughts and beliefs. And in that way, you're raising your frequency. Kindness, being compassionate, being patient, being understanding, and as I say, living and leading from the heart. These are all things that will raise your frequency. And the benefits of raising our frequency is the less the outside noise and all this agenda that's going on from the other side of life will affect you, because you'll stay positive. You'll stay with this innate knowing that everything is working out and moving and doing what it needs to do. So, as I say, there is a lot of awakening taking place. Many people are waking up to their soul agreements, to their soul missions, and really getting on track. And don't compare yourself to others. That's another thing. Nobody is any more than, or nobody is any less than. We are all fractals of the divine, that I've said so many times before. And it's important that we value and respect and have a great reverence, not just for others and not just for our guides and our teachers, but for ourselves. Because in some areas of your life, I've no doubt that you are a guide and a teacher for others. And we all do it in our own unique way. So be kind to yourself and never, ever put yourself down or think you're not as good as anybody else, because that is not truth. So before I call in my galactic team, I've had new guides coming in and making other connections as well. So we'll see what they would like to share with us. But as always, only take what resonates with you. If it doesn't feel right for you, then that is absolutely fine. We are all got our own free will. We all must work with what feels right for us, for our resonance and our truth. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to call in the team and see what they desire to share with us for this podcast. Greetings, dear families. We would like to say, as our dear sister just shared with you, that even though we are in a higher dimensional resonance at times than you, that does not mean in any way, shape or form that we are higher than you. All of you that are on this earth plane now, you came here with a great passion and a great desire to assist the earth in her ascension and to assist humanity in the ascension. You are all great beings of light. You are as great as any other benevolent being. On your higher timeline, you are, and in your dream times and meditations, resonating with us in those higher frequencies. The earth plane is a great school, and it's a school of teaching that you can move beyond the light and the dark into that higher place of pure divine consciousness, of divinity itself. Choosing whatever feels best for you at each time and giving yourself that power and that privilege to choose is so important right now. For as these old systems and institutions are beginning to move out of the frequency that has been held in place for so long, this is being done because of your frequencies, because of your desire to live a better life, to live a life of greater harmony, to live life on the earth plane, on this new earth that you yourselves are creating. You are creators, and your thoughts are so important at this time to be focused on what you desire in your lives, what you desire to be birthed onto this beautiful planet. There are so many leagues now and guardians of the earth, of the cosmos, that are rejoicing because this time of great change is in full swing now. It is in full force. So many things have already been removed that have been so, shall we say, destructive to humanity. But so many of you have stood firm in your ground, stood in your truth and said no more. Not to be, shall we say, forced into saying and doing and living a life that is not in alignment with your heart, with your soul. You've realized so much more truth, and this expansion in your mind and in your consciousness is a joy for us to see, dear ones. You have all expanded so exponentially in this last year, and this is as we say, it is quickening now. It is rising even faster. Now, there may be times when you feel a little disorientated because the energy is so high and moving so quickly. So that's why it's important also, as our dear sister just shared with you, to ground the energy and to also be aware, dear ones, of where you're placing your focus. Simple things such as, are you focusing on what upsets you? Are you focusing on what triggers you? Are you focusing on what annoys you? Because when you're placing your attention there, those things will just keep looping back into your life. But as you make that conscious choice to focus on the positives, on the joy, on your friendships, on the beautiful animal kingdom you share your lives with, the beauty of the oceans and nature, on how you have expanded and moved forward and achieved so much. Dear ones, we say look back to this time last year, just momentarily, and notice how far each one of you have come. And we say keep taking those steps. Gentleness and softness is not a weakness. Gentleness, softness and openness is a great strength and power that is malleable and that can weave into the wisdom and that bridging of your higher consciousness into this physical life. So keep bridging those higher energies weaving them into your physicality and enjoying those feelings of great upliftment, of great happiness, of creativity, as you all continue to create together this new earth. We would also like to remind you, dear ones, of the consciousness that crystals hold. Each crystal has its own unique consciousness, just as each one of you as beautiful humans do. So feel which crystals you may at times feel drawn to. Connect with that crystal. Let it merge with your consciousness. Let it merge with your mind and thoughts and your ideas and help you expand and bring you deeper and vaster, more visions for you to keep moving towards. At this time, it is also very nourishing and healing to be in the water, whether it's the water of the ocean, the rivers, the springs, even in your shower. Visualize where that water comes from, where its origin is, because it is all of divine origin. And this water carries great codes and frequencies to assist you in aligning with your highest consciousness, with your empowerment, with your strengths and your healing abilities. So be in the water whenever you can. Shower for longer. Bless your waters. Hold your hands around whatever container you may be drinking from and ask that those divine frequencies and energies cleanse, purify and energize the water for you to feel hydrated and for it to feel and activate every cell of your divinity, your divine intelligence within, and feel how that is. And you can do the same for your animals, for your plants. Energize that water, bless that water. As our sister said, our dear sister said, this is a time of this great renewal, this great reset, as the cosmos has taken a breath in, and now this breath out has brought in this higher frequency and purity of energy for each and every one of you. Shift your focus away from sadness, from anger, from grief, from turmoil, and place your focus on the peace, on the light, on the integrity. And at times you may feel you want to be assertive, and at other times very gentle and soft. And we will finish this transmission by saying, allow everybody to be who they are. Focus on being who you are. The divine fractal of light that you came here to assist in birthing these new earth energies. You all are powerful beings of light, powerful beyond measure, dear sisters and brothers. If when you go to sleep you ask to connect with your star family, you may have further visions and dream time with them that you will consciously then remember and assist you in creating the life that your soul is guiding you towards. Feel our love. Visualize that light like a great golden waterfall cascading down through the entirety of all humanity, through all the grids, deep into that very core and saturating all life on earth. You are loved. Love who you are and love wherever you can. Release that doesn't serve you, whether it's places, people or things, and resonate to those that you feel that beautiful, loving, divine and sacred connection with. Arana kora ti sadakira. Orana makira shonora teminiaka. Oshemena I taranama o kekinarana. Oresina makarana ya. Ore amara. Ore namayana yare. Ora sena kiara tanama a. Ora mika kena ta kikira. Kura kikira kirasa. Kuramana ira ke karana kikita turete. Tere kira mana de. Tere niara kono. Om Shane. Om Shane. Om Shane. Om Shane, brothers and sisters. Be the love you are. We love you. Continue weaving your light into the new earth. All is well, dear ones. Blessings and love. That felt so powerful today. And it felt like a whole, as though it wasn't one being talking through me. It felt a variety, as though they were each taking their turn, which was really a nice feeling. So think about your intentions throughout this week, or throughout this month, I should say. And think about being really mindful with your conversations. You know, sometimes I love turning a conversation round, and it can just activate so much within ourselves and with others. So thank you for sitting with me in this energy today, wherever you are on your journey, whatever you've remembered, whatever you've felt or simply sensed, just trust that. And know the cosmos isn't out there, it's in here, it's in you. So until next time, I invite you to trust your own inner knowing above any external source, including me. Use your discernment and keep feeling what is right for you. If you'd like to find out any more about the healings I offer in, the activations or readings, you can go to my website, carolinecrawford.org. And just remember that I really appreciate you being here with me. So thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart. And if you have had any experiences you'd like to share, I invite you to share that, whether it's from your star family or any cosmic experiences or any experiences in any other way, that because it could assist others in remembering where they came from. So remembering who we are is top of the list right now. So write down in the comments, if you please would, to share any of your experiences, or if you'd like to share and subscribe if you haven't done already, then I invite you to do that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I should be posting again more regularly. It was just we had an insanely busy couple of months. We had a lot of travel on. We gained our scuba diving certification. We've been to Mexico. We've been to England. And we just needed to just let our energies settle and gain that energy back. So with all my love, with all my thanks, with my deep appreciation and love, for now, namaste.